Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Code Realize Wintertide Miracles in Lupin's Route. And yeah, he was just being melodramatic the whole first part. Now he's going to come steal us away. Maybe. We'll see what happens. Obviously, he's going to try. I don't know. So we don't know. Did Saint Germain and the gang throw out our return letters, or did they throw out Lupin's letters so I never got them to force him to do this? Who knows? I guess we're going to find out. Ahem. Far, far west of London, our home stands in stately silence. This deep within the forest, uh, this deep within the forest country of Wales, even horse-drawn carriages can be a rare sight, to say nothing of trains. Sister. When I last left this place, more than a decade of neglect had lent our family estate the aura of a ruin. Though far from complete, we did manage to finish the most pressing repairs prior to winter's full force arrival. I hope, boarding up the windows and fucking holes. Indeed, since Venice and I returned, the old house has been undergoing quite a transformation. Sister. Hello. Are you listening? Sister. Hmm? Oh, I'm sorry, Venice. What's going on? Going on, she says. You asked me to light a fire, then sit down in front of the window, the coldest spot in the room. If you just wanted to sit, at least come by the fire where it's warm. Chop chop! Worried about me catching a cold, hmm? What? Don't flatter yourself. I'd simply prefer my efforts go unwasted. Completely at odds with his statement, Finnis sidles up beside me, and the two of us gaze out into the wintry night. Warmed by his place at the fire, my younger brother's presence was welcome and cozy. Or is there something out there? A rabbit, maybe? No, there's nothing. It's not like that. All that lay beyond the window was the dim line of the forest edge and the unchanging canopy of night sky that hung overhead. Even so, I can't stop staring. I felt as though I should be watching for something. Little wonder. Today is Christmas Eve, after all. Christmas Eve! The night before Christmas! See, they don't tell you what the French shit means, but they'll tell you what Christmas fucking Eve is. Anyway. Eve originates from the Old English word even, meaning evening/night. When I went down to shop in town yesterday, all the stores were decorated and brightly lit. Everyone seemed so excited. But the house my brother and I occupy remained unchanged. Quiet, even dour. Nothing here even hints at the fact that, in fact, the holiest of days is fast approaching. If I had to make note of some small difference, I suppose our dinner was slightly more extravagant than usual. My skills in the kitchen aren't yet what they should be, but my homemade Christmas pudding was good. I hope. I was just thinking that the sky looks so beautiful. All the stars are out. It really does feel like Christmas. It's astonishing how many more stars are visible away from the London glare. My thoughts turned to the families all across England who were gazing up at the same skies at this very moment. Being able to share this evening with my own family brought me happiness. A small happiness, perhaps, but it was my own. However, sister, if you're adamant about not warming yourself by the fire, perhaps you should be getting to bed. Remember yesterday, all that fuss over the perfect pudding recipe, you hardly got any sleep. I suppose you're right. I should get to sleep. Good night, Venice. Yes, good night. Venice returned to his spot by the fire as I turned toward my own chambers. My ear. God, it's really bugging me lately. I don't know. How long have I been lying here? Waiting what seemed an eternity for sleep's sweet embrace. I lay atop my chilly winter's bed, regarding the ceiling in silence. I do wish I had been able to make it to London. My innermost thoughts come pouring out in a rush, perhaps because I was feeling quite acutely alone. I could not help but wonder how the friends I left behind in London might be spending the evening. The electric hustle and bustle of the city actually felt nostalgic to me now. And closing my eyes, I let memory take me back. Citywide Christmas Gala to be held in commemoration of London's swift recovery. I began thinking about visiting London for Christmas immediately upon reading the article. But for no reason I could discern, none of the letters I sent to St. Germain's Manse asking if I might stay there were answered. Oh, they're such shady fuckers. Oh. Oh. I feel so bad. Oh, you know Saint Germain got them and was like, of course! But I'm not going to reply. Goes in the fire. Oh, yeah, Lupin, I'll send Spacey out this letter. Throws it in the fire. What a dickhole. Oh, Saint Germain, I love you, but you're evil. I mean, he did try to stab us, so insane. But, like, oh my god. Had something happened? Perhaps they were all away somewhere. Certain a reply would arrive sooner or later. I waited and waited. But to no avail. No reply ever came, and now the day was upon us. I suppose they must all be spending Christmas out of town. It's not as though I need a reason as specific as Christmas to pay my friends at St. Germain's a visit. And New Year's is just around the corner, too. Oh, really, there are any number of excuses I could use to visit London. Or so I try to tell myself. It does no good. I genuinely want to spend this, of all days, together with my dear friends. The loneliness and melancholy that had welled up in my chest now threatened to engulf my entire body. Indeed, I felt loneliness like this before. I experienced it before boarding the train out of London, desperately squelching my emotions lest I worry my friends. But even worse, it recalled the long years I lived alone in this mansion before meeting Lupin. I was acutely reminded of nothing less than the excruciating loneliness of being unable to share physical contact. It's not my style to leave a beautiful young woman disappointed. In exchange for your heart, I will grant you one wish. A wish? Indeed, mademoiselle. And this humble thief promises you in all sincerity that he'll grant you a single wish. My wish. The wish I asked of him that night. Even now, with a lifetime's worth of drama behind us, I believe it remains firm. I want to see you. I want to touch you. The desires I kept so carefully locked away within my heart had burst forth. My bedchamber was oddly silent. All I could hear was the sound of my own voice and the faint whisper of my breath. Lulled by the gentle susurrus? What is that? Anyway, I feel my eyes growing heavy. Ornithopter? I'm just thinking. Me? Hear me? Can you hear me, mademoiselle? Hmm? The faintest of voices rouses me from my slumber. The voice is somehow nostalgic, its owner clearly taking pains not to unduly disturb the calm of this holy night. Just then I notice a light rapping on the window. Following the barely audible voice, I gently open my eyes to find Lupin popping in her window. Look at him in his like fucking festive Santa gear. Oh my god, he dressed the dog up like a reindeer. Oh god, it's too fucking cute. Oh, this motherfucker. What? Look at the dog is smiling. Look at fucking Cece's like, yeah, it's fucking great. I love this. This dog. Oh. Caught betwixt dreams and reality, I feel as though the wind has been knocked out of me. Could it have been a sudden gust of cold wind through the open window? Or perhaps something unrelated to meteorology entirely? Somehow my trembling lips utter the name. Lupin? Alighting elegantly on the pristine carpet of freshly fallen snow, accompanied by an adorable reindeer clad in a festive red and white ensemble, he bowed deeply and courteously. Pardon my intrusion upon your much-deserved beauty sleep, mademoiselle. I'm but a humble, itinerant Santa of sorts. And on this night, I've come to claim your heart. No, excuse me. I've come to put a smile on that pretty face with the aid of my charming reindeer companion. Scrutinizing Lupin a bit closer, I realized his entire demeanor had changed. Flashing a rakish, confident smile, he looked every inch the Santa Claus he claimed to be. Cece, cradled in Santa's arms, wore equally festive garb. The dog is so fucking cute. Struck dumb by surprise, I take it. Très bien. And then all this preparation was worth it. You spent more time picking out a Santa suit and getting the dog in a reindeer costume when you could have got your ass here. He was like on the train doing it, you know what? Is that really you, Lupin? He's supposed to be in London. How could he possibly be here? This has to be some sort of fever dream brought on by thinking about him so much. I have to feel him. Check to see if he's warm. I reach out my hand. He takes it in his. Once again, he speaks his name. Verily, I am he. Verily. What the fuck kind of Shakespeare shit is this? Verily, I am he, Arsène Lupin, a greatest thief of the age, responsible for stealing Mademoiselle away from this very spot. But on this day, I am your Santa and yours alone. It is Christmas after all. He's making the whole Santa thing seem really fucking naughty. Like, I am your Santa, you're making it dirty, and it's weird. I stared dumbfounded, eventually regaining my composure after several moments pass. Wells of emotion spring up in my heart, gushing out in a torrent. Everything about this feels more outlandish than the most bizarre dream I could ever remember having had. There's no possible way he could know what I was thinking as I fell asleep. Yet even so, here he was, ready to grant my wish. Here to see me. Surprise, joy, passion, even sadness and pain. My chest fairly bursting with every emotion I can name and then some. I was only able to manage 4 simple words. I missed you, Lupin. And I missed you. A Merry Christmas, Spacey. Best Christmas gift ever is all I'm saying, right? These boys showing up like, Merry Christmas. Yay! A man for Christmas! A short while later, yeah, please, thank God I didn't have to read that. You know, I knew that didn't happen, but I'm just saying, whoa. After changing back into more familiar garb and relieving Cece of his reindeer getup, Lupin apologizes for his sudden visit. Seemingly relieved to be free of his Yuletide trappings, Cece clambers beside me and rests on his side atop the bed. His great masses of fluffy fur brought back memories so pleasant I found it quite impossible to keep my paws off him. You really did startle me, you know? I never imagined you would come all the way out here. And you're only just back from France. I was sure you'd still be busy. Hardly. Well, I suppose getting ready for Christmas has been a bit hectic, but that's about it. Still London in all its holiday glory. I would have loved to show it to you, but even I would have trouble stealing a city. But I did want you to get some sense of the festivities, hence my dashing arrival dressed as Santa. Were my meager efforts pleasing to you, mademoiselle? They were. Thank you, Mr. Claus. It was a lovely Christmas gift. Mademoiselle. The word resonated within me even more deliciously than usual. Was it perhaps because I hadn't heard it in so long? Feeling flushed and a bit warm, I sit back down on the bed and study Lupin's face. That said, your present was really more of an excuse to check up on you. I have been a bit worried, you see. You haven't replied to my last few letters, so my mind went to dark places. I'm relieved to see you doing well. What? Had I misheard something? What Lupin had said made so little sense I stopped him mid-conversation. Hold on, Lupin. What do you mean you never received my replies? Just that. You haven't replied to any of the letters I sent, right? I know that you're busy too, but to be perfectly honest, I really was missing your letters. Lupin laughs the statement off with his typical joking manner. Was he trying to be considerate? In any case, I knit my brow in frustration, trying to think of how to phrase what I had to say next. There haven't been any letters, Lupin. I haven't received a single letter from you in over a month. Huh? I also sent several letters to the mansion asking if I could come stay with you all over Christmas. Nobody wrote back, so I just assumed you were all going somewhere else for the holidays. Wait! Letters from you? I never got a single one. What in the world? Something was clearly not adding up. Baffled, we could do little but gape at one another in quizzical silence. But then, from the hallway... there we... Sister! Sir, it's an emergency. Someone disabled the garden alarm. That loud Hansel may have broken in again. Or it could be... Huh? Cheerio, Phineas. It's been a while. Still attached to your sister at the hip, I see. How? Spacey and Lupin? Spacey leapt on Phineas, while Lupin gave a jaunty, if unapologetic, wave. Apparently incensed by the entire state of affairs, Phineas glared at Lupin with all his might. Meanwhile, he's snuggling the dog, because that's like Deli. I hate you all. I guess I'll take care of this mongrel. I love this dog. Like, you know what I mean? It certainly has been a while, thief. Do you know how late it is? You fancy yourself a gentleman, yet you lack the most basic tact. Sadly, I must point out the fact that I'm Santa thief tonight. It wouldn't do for Santa to arrive during the day, would it? Damn you! If I had known you were coming, I would have set far more fatal traps. Phineas mutters on about increasingly frightening things, which I do my utmost to block out. He needs some therapy. At any rate, I decide to make use of the opportunity, casually bringing up the topic that had been vexing me all evening. Oh, and not to change the topic, Phineas, but there's something I'd like to ask you about. Huh? What do you want? I'm busy over here. Someone has to think of a way to eject this third-rate cut purse for... It's about some letters that may have come for me recently. I don't suppose you've seen anything like that lying around. Phineas froze. Letters that Lupin posted to me must have arrived here at the house, but tending to the postbox outside is one of Phineas's responsibilities, since we split all the housework. And so, since I was unaware of them, that makes Phineas the only other person who might have been. Phineas remained deathly still for a moment, clearly choosing his next words carefully. Both Lupin and I waited with bated breath until finally... That old black goat must have eaten them, no? The goat? What are you, 12? You little... I know you know something. Spill it. Spill your guts. After some back and forth in the same vein, Phineas, seeming the worse for wear from our interrogation, produces a bundle of letters and hands them over with a withering look. Even the most conservative estimation I can muster easily placed their number at over 100. So, you kept letters addressed to me locked up in your room? Is that it? I knew my expression was harsh, perhaps even dangerous. Phineas refused to meet my gaze, muttering under his breath, that's a lot of fucking letters. Well, yes, but I have to say one thing first. I wasn't specifically targeting letters from Lupin. Meaning? Hold up, mon dieu. The lion's share of this giant stack are letters from Impy. According to Phineas, look at Lupin's face! He had dutifully passed on each and every letter with my name on it during our early days at the house. But after contending with an absurd number of Impy's letters each week, my brother became disgusted with the entire process. Apparently, carrying them to my room had become such an ordeal that it was easier to stockpile them for bulk delivery. Not realizing Lupin's entirely sane number of letters had been mixed in among Impy's, they had simply been lost in the shuffle. So, that's why I didn't realize there were any other letters mixed up with the rest. I apologize. To see Phineas deliver an honest apology was a rare thing. He must feel genuine remorse for what happened. Phineas's frankness seemed to quell even Lupin's spite, as he now wore an expression I recognized as meaning no harm, no foul. To be frank, I would not mind having a stern word or three with you, but with the mitigating circumstances of our so-called genius engineer's involvement, I'll let you off the hook this once. Right. Impy's letters are certainly appreciated, but I will remember to gently remind him that less can often be more. At any rate, sifting through the mountain of missives did reveal a few letters from Lupin and our other friends as well. I'll be sure to write proper replies later. And thus the uncrackable mystery of the disappearing letters is cracked. And that was not a pleasant experience. Wait, but what about the letters I sent? Why weren't they delivered? Sorry, but that I cannot help you with. It may not have been the highlight of my day, but I did post all of your letters. Phineas looked too authentically befuddled to be lying. There would also be no point in continuing to hide anything, which means the two cases aren't connected. And yet, they could have been lost en route, or maybe delivered to the wrong address? We're talking about royal posts addressed to the home of an aristocrat. A misdelivery or loss seems unlikely to me. But then, where did they go? Finis and I come up with nothing fast, but Lupin appears to hit on something. He shuts his eyes, muttering quietly to himself. Aha! I'm beginning to see it. Was that a flash of Lupin insight? You might say so. But if we mean to confirm my suspicions, I think we may have to step out for a bit. And with that, Lupin takes my hand in his, pulling me close to his body. His grip is firm, its strength feels appropriate to rid ourselves of the day's deeply vexing misunderstandings. Mademoiselle, would you do me the honor of accompanying this humble burglar to the grand city of steel once again? To London? Now? Sure. You do realize you have no right of refusal, I hope. I'm a thief, not Santa. I don't allow my quarry to slip away. Says the man who claimed he was Santa and specifically not a thief just moments ago. Anyway, I wanted you to visit London at the very same time you were trying to visit London. Ergo, no need to hold back, right? It's still Christmas Eve. Christmas proper is tomorrow. Lupin is right. I would probably be in London right now if the bizarre mail mix-up hadn't occurred. But if I do go, this house... Why don't you just go? I'd finally have some peace and quiet around here. But peace and... You make it sound like I'm always making a racket, or... Maybe because you are? Sister, whenever you have even a sliver of free time, all you do is ramble about London incessantly. But no. More succinctly, your ramblings exclusively concern Arsène Lupin, don't they? Oh. Even today, I don't know how many times it was Lupin this, Lupin that. Sweet, sweet Lupin. Also sickeningly wistful. Well. Look at that! Look at his face, that scoundrel. I love him. Stop it, Finis! And you too, Lupin! Don't grin like that! It was a vile brew of truth mixed with outright lies, and... Oh, who do I think I'm fooling? Finis had it about 80% right. Hearing my younger brother speak so breezily and openly about things I had yet to even realize brings on an instant flush. I try to cover Lupin's ears, which only serves to increase the amount of fun he seems to be having and broaden his grin. And well, that's the whole sordid tale. Do try to keep my sister at least somewhat entertained. With that, Finis abruptly turns his back on us and moves to leave the room. Before he can make it out of the door, I dash forward and grasp his shoulder firmly. No, Finis. If I'm going, you're coming with me. Huh? The original plan was always to bring you up to London with me. Remember what we talked about? I want you to speak with my friends, laugh and smile with them, learn about everything you can. So, shall we, Finis? Dear sister, has anyone ever told you just how bad you are at taking hints? I was trying to do you a favor. And don't even try it, Finis. You know how stubborn she can be. She is your sister, after all. If my lady's wish is for you to accompany us, my honor as gentleman thief dictates that I must grant it. Right, preamble over. I fully intend to kidnap both of you. So can the back talk, unless you fancy being handled rough. I mean, I might. It's Lupin. I'm just saying. Finis is like, I don't want to be handled at all by Lupin, but fine. I suppose it could theoretically help me kill some time. Finis's words were as barbed as ever, but for once he was wearing the ghost of a smile and I couldn't help but return it. Lupin, it's lovely that we're off to London, but how exactly are we going to get there? There are no trains that leave this late, but if we wait until morning, who knows if they'll even be in service? Ha ha! Don't worry your pretty little head, and trust in the gentleman thief. Okay. It turned out to be something I could have figured out if only I'd thought for a moment. How did Lupin seem to materialize out of the ether on a Welsh roof in the dead of night? It was too late for any trains to be running, so there could only be one answer. Only a scant few hours had passed since leaving Wales. By the time the winter sun had dimly begun to rise, cresting thick curtains of cloud, the ornithopter Lupin had allegedly borrowed from Impey was already soaring above the city of London. Allegedly! My goodness, the entire city looks like it was spun from silver. With the ornithopter's wings dispersing London's ever-present plumes of steam, the full expanse of the city hoves into view. Just then, I was struck by the full weight of how long it had actually been since I last saw London from the air. Spreading out beneath me, glimmering in a dignified coat of snow, touched by faint sunlight, my second home, the Steel City. Yeah, and this is what I call a view, all right. And the snow started yesterday. To think London was covered overnight. It feels so odd to see it like this. It feels like I've come to some other city entirely. It appears that even the brutish city of steel and steam lets her hair down for the holidays, dressed in a white gown to boot. The flickering lights of red and gold I see here and there must have been put up just for this Christmas. If they're this beautiful from high up above, what must they look like at street level? Don't hail, Cece! Don't flail about in here! It's the size of a broom closet! Haha! If we'd taken the automobile, it wouldn't be so crammed, but we were taking some serious snow driving. I couldn't be 100% on whether we'd arrive in one piece or several. If you're such a stickler for snow safety, surely you must realize this ornithopter is a vision of danger in itself. Hey, oh, he's not wrong. It started whipping around in circles when we flew through that blizzard. Hey, what matters is, look, you made it here safe, didn't you? We call that a win. Any further protest would have been useless anyway. The buzz of flapping wings drown out all sound as we arc downwards. I'm only minutes away from stepping out into a city so lively it practically vibrates, and the thought is exhilarating. Later, in a middle-class area of London through which the city's primary artery for traffic meandered. There are more people in the streets now. I was told the restoration project had only just finished. I suppose it matters little. Nothing's quite so important as retention of morale. Van Helsing had not been back to the city in quite some time. He studied his environs intently, quietly taking verbal notes. Many noticed a sudden drop in temperature last night, but who imagined snowbanks that were already deeper than usual for England? Passers-by breathe out puffs of air that appear only whitish compared to the immaculate purity of the fresh snow. The morning had already played host to more children tumbling in the snow and their worried parents than could be counted. God, I can't read. Hello, Van Helsing! Why must you tarry so? Look, it's as though the world beneath us is made of snow. Come here at once and... Ugh! He just fell, didn't he? Yeah. And so the snow claims one more child. Look at his precious face! That look on Van Helsing's face is like, you're so precious, Deli. Oh, it's like the dad looking at his kid face. It's adorable. He's like, precious little scamp. Well, why are you smiling? Do you find the sight of your king falling down comical? You know he does. He's like... And that was how I found myself reunited with two very familiar faces, less than 5 minutes after landing the ornithopter. Familiar faces indeed. Oh my! Van Helsing! Deli! Oh! If it isn't Cardia and Spacey. Lupin and Spacey? Or Spacey and Lupin? Wow, you let Tim get into this, didn't you? Tim done fucked this shit up right. Anyway. Isn't Spacey and Lupin? Spacey and Spacey, there's two of us. Hey, you wacky funsters. And don't tell me you just got in too. Wouldn't we have landed the ornithopter in St. Germain's yard? So why would we then have been here to go back? See, this doesn't make any sense. Wait. Anyway. No, we did not. Delacroix and I have been back since last night. I was made aware you were leaving for Wales to escort her back. It would seem you managed to do so without injury. Not a scratch. We quite literally just got in. And when I say we, I brought Phineas Finis along for the holiday too, but he flew the ornithopter back alone so that we could have a leisurely stroll and see the sights. What's more, he even took Spacey. Oh, I get it. So he dropped them off. He was like, get the fuck out! I'm taking the ornithopter back. Our Finis did this. He's changed as well. Whatever foul hex had been placed on him seems to have lifted. Look! Look! He's even looking! He's even got that face that's like... That mischievous scamp. Ah! The Van Helsing sweet face is too much for my heart. Oh, I want to be on this triangle day too. The same might be said of you. Like, you have the sweetest face on right now and it's cute. I just want to squeeze your cheeks. I suspect that part of the reason Finis is being so conscientious stems from guilt over the letter affair. But still, the look in Van Helsing's eyes as he spoke of Finis filled me with relief. I sighed knowing he was no longer hated or feared. No, look at Van Helsing. He fucking loves everyone. This is the look Van Helsing has when he's in love with us and he's getting laid. And now, Van Helsing, who are you doing on the side? Like, seriously, what? Just, like, because that face is like the, I love everyone. Oh, Deli, you're precious. Finis, you're precious. Oh, Impy, you're precious. Oh my God, what happened to Van Helsing? Is he on drugs? Like, you know what I'm saying? Everyone is a precious scamp to him now, and it's like, oh, I don't know. Should we just be concerned, or we should just enjoy? Let's just enjoy it. Okay. I almost forgot. Surely Lupin has already informed you of the soiree to be held tonight at the mansion. This lout and I are shopping for supplies right now. Impy claims he's pulling out all the stops, so prepare yourselves. We'll try. It's been ages since I've had Impy's cooking. I'm very excited. Impy aside, both Saint Germain and Victor are here as well. That means the whole gang is back together after quite a hiatus. I know, I love you too. Also, I love Lupin because we're in his path, but I still love you, Van Helsing. Haha! This shindig sounds like it could get intense. We'd better get a head start on the whole preparing ourselves thing. So you mean get drunk now? And Spacey, I haven't seen you in ages either. You'd better not have forgotten who I am. As we engage in these casual conversations, my circumstances take on a stronger sense of reality. I really had come back to the city of which I'm so fond, the city of a million memories. I really was going to spend Christmas Day together with my closest friends. Much too excited now to quell my thrumming heart, I bashfully turn away. Well then, we'll be off. If we don't make haste, we might not be able to finish at all. Come, Van Helsing. Our first stop shall be the pâtissiers for cake. I think it's a pâtissier. Is it a pâtissier? Whatever. Cake. Good Lord. What a rambunctious ruler he turned out to be. He's a rambunctious scamp. I have to keep one eye trained on him 24/7. Oh well, you certainly seem to have slipped into your role as royal guardian quite convincingly. He feels less like a ruler and more like an unruly younger brother in need of constant care. Well, it would appear I have a Delacroix to catch, but you needn't hurry back yet. Take your time. We shall regroup later. With that, Van Helsing sprinted off after Deli, and it occurred to me that the odd pair truly did seem like brothers now. Scamps. Promising myself I would make a point of asking them all about their journeys, I tugged softly at Lupin's sleeve. Lupin, we really should be going. Let's have a walk around the city. Certainly, mademoiselle. Might you perhaps deign to join this humble thief on a Christmas date? A date? Fuck yes. The answer is yes. I'm frozen, rooted to the spot. Lupin offers me his hand with a flourish, and I stare at it dumbly. Girl, grab it and run. At any other time, I would have laughed this off. But just Lupin displaying his usual dramatic flair, but no. More succinctly, your ramblings exclusively concern Arsène Lupin, don't they? Oh? Even at hey, I don't know how many times it was Lupin this, Lupin that, sweet, sweet Lupin, and also sickeningly wistful. This was all Finis's fault. If he hadn't said those things in front of Lupin, I wouldn't be so dreadfully self-conscious. What exactly are Lupin's intentions with this date? Any number of possibilities whirl through my head, and I cannot calm down. Well, I say we put aside whether or not that constitutes a date just yet, and start off holding hands. This constitutes, sorry. And this is quite a throng, after all. Just imagine the debacle if we accidentally lost each other. You're a devious motherfucker and I love you. Look at that. He's like, oh, you should just hold hands so we don't get lost. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see what you're doing. It's a smart eye. It's smart, but it's also shady. But I love you for it. Lupin gestured toward the high street, packed with more revelers than I could ever remember having seen on a London road. The teeming multitudes practically formed walls. Indeed, the only way to tell shops apart was to force our way inside them. Lupin had one thing right. If we did happen to get separated, our chances of finding one another again would be slim. He's like, we should hold hands. True. Well, all right. This isn't a date, I tell myself. Not yet, anyway. Gingerly, I take his hand in mine, and immediately the warmth of his palm causes my own cheeks to grow hot. His grip is gentle, chaste, and courteous, the grip of an escort or a chaperone. Somehow, it was lacking. Oh, or else, had I somehow missed an opportunity here? Ruminating on this most bewildering feeling, I follow Lupin as he tugs my hand. The magnificent city of London, festooned with all the trappings of Christmas. Seeing it from the sky was striking, but to actually walk amongst the splendor is a completely different, more direct experience. I've been down these streets countless times, but painted in holiday hues, they feel fresh and new. Joyous music resounds all across the city, and holiday hymns seem to echo from every corner and crossing. The Steel City never wants for liveliness, but today is on another level entirely. This is incredible. It's like being inside a dream. Because you're holding Lupin's hand, right? Even with such tremendous sights all about, the words out of my mouth are trite, banal. They're apparently all I can manage. There were Christmas decorations in Wales as well, but they can't hold a stub of a candle to all this. Yeah, it's something all right. And not that I'd expect any less from Her Majesty, the Queen of England's own capital city. Say, look at the patisserie. It's the patisserie? Patisserie? A pastry place. Look at that fucking bakery over there. And they've got a Santa doll set up. My goodness, it's dancing? I wonder if it's steam-powered. Even if we walk around all day, we'd never be able to see all the sights. A cacophony of music, laughter, and shouts of joy ring out from all directions, underscoring Lupin's words. As we continue to walk, the celebratory mood permeating the streets grows stronger. It feels as though the entire city is raising its collective voice in glorification of this once-a-year event. Aw, Christmas is only once a year? That's depressing. Just kidding. I'm surprised they don't say once a year, like Christmas only comes once a year. What? They like to tell you what Eve means or whatever. Tell me what the French words mean or how to pronounce them. Tell me how to pronounce French. Like, don't tell me what the way, like, ladies are females. No fucking way, really? Like, right this way, ladies and gentlemen. You can't have a proper holiday repast without a nice plump turkey.
Mommy, look! There's a reindeer selling dollies!
For goodness sake, child, don't wander off. What would happen if you got lost? It's on sale for the holiday. But my friends are waiting for me. Step right up and feast your eyes on this. One of a kind from far off land. And wouldn't this piece look lovely on you? Simply walking around window shopping and people watching with Lupin is thrilling. This multitudinous mass of people smiling and laughing in the city my father built. In the grand scheme of things, barely a blink of an eye has passed since the disaster that wiped out half of London. The reconstructed cityscape. The citizenry wandering hither and yon, beaming smiles on their faces. All as vibrant as they were before, if not even more so. It's Christmas, yeah, everyone's happy. The day after Christmas is like, oh, it's sad. And this is a day of celebration, but people certainly are stronger than we sometimes give them credit for. It's true. Just looking at all this, it's patently obvious how strong the city is. We continue to chat about this and that until Lupin suddenly quiets, squinting in the direction of the city. Just as abruptly, he slows his pace, and in the instant I was about to ask him what was wrong. What? How Half a heartbeat, and the distance between Lupin and I closes to nil. Oh. With his face so close I can feel his body heat, he suddenly pulls me into an embrace. Pulling my hand to draw me even closer, he whispers, Spacey, L- Lupin, what do you think you... We have to run. What? Lupin's movements were infinitely faster than my ability to process what he was saying. Eh! Still holding me fast, he takes off like a shot. Lupin dashes expertly through the crowd, avoiding collisions entirely. Without slowing, he turns sharply into a narrow alley. Yeah, hey, Lupin! I'll explain later. The last thing I need right now is his twisted sense of... I'm guessing it's Sholmes. It does appear you've regained a bit of your usual sharpness, but... Yeah. And to run off without even a cursory glance in my direction, I must admit, even I feel a tad slighted. Oh, Sholmes! Good day, Miss Spacey. You've returned to London, I see. The young man who stood in our way was none other than Lupin's self-proclaimed archenemy. I like how he said it, his self-proclaimed archenemy. Like, it's cute you think he's your arch nemesis. Merde! I don't know if that is. He was too fast. I don't know what that means, but anyway. And so what business have you with me today, Master Detective? Surely you haven't come to rudely interrupt a couple's date. Certainly not. Believe me or nay, I truly did just happen to chance by. I'd sooner become a lay private detective than come betwixt a couple so passionate they openly embrace on the high street. What? I hastily try to shift my body away from Lupin, putting distance between us, but rather than letting go, Lupin only pulls me closer to him. I can feel his body heat directly because of my bulk. I can't feel his body heat directly because of my bulky winter clothes, but I can certainly feel his arms enveloping me. My pulse quickens and I struggle to remain calm. Young love is a lovely thing. Well, I suppose I shall be off to enjoy the day with my somewhat loudmouthed partner. Perhaps he really did just stop us to say hello? In any case, Sholmes flashes us one last smile and turns to walk away. But before he could dissolve into the crowd, Lupin abruptly yells after him. Yo! A make-believe detective!
Yo, make-believe detective.
Yes? I know I'll beat myself up later if I don't say it now, so... Thanks. It was perhaps the most un-Lupin-like thing I had ever heard him say. Both Sholmes and I wear identical expressions of surprise.
She's like, huh? And he's like, the fuck?
Lupin just thanked Sholmes? Well, this is a genuine surprise. And to think the day would actually come that you would grace me with such words. It may be true that I'm not your biggest fan, but a true gentleman must always conduct himself with dignity. It isn't every day a thief thanks a man of the law. I suggest you take what you can get. I wonder what might have happened between these two. I could glean no clues from what either of them said, so I'm completely in the dark. And yet, Sholmes seemed to understand Lupin's cryptic statement fully. Right, they're like, oh, you're in love with Spacey, huh? And he's like, what? Oh, I am. Belting out a laugh that can only be genuine, Sholmes waves and walks away. Quite at odds with the way Lupin typically parts with his archenemy, he makes no fuss and simply sees the detective off. But as for me, Lupin at last releases his grip and I struggle to regain my breath. It's not as if this was the first time Lupin has held my hand or even hugged me, so why can't I seem to calm myself down? Why today? Is it because I haven't seen him in a while? Am I just confused? Or maybe... Oh, what's wrong? Are you tiring out? Maybe we should head back to the mansion early. No, I'm alright. I was just thinking. I'm still fine to walk, and I do want to see more of the city. I want to see it with you, Lupin. Is that a fact? But let me know if it starts to get rough for you, yeah? We strolled through London contentedly, with no particular destination in mind. Cutting through seldom used back alleys, leaving footprints in the fresh snow. Wondering at the new and mysterious sensations of snow melting in my hands. Lupin gently escorting me over patches of slippery ice cover. Making our circuit of the city, it was no surprise that we ran into familiar faces. Namely Queen Victoria, supreme ruler of the British Empire, and her loyal guardsman Lionheart. So he doesn't realize that Lupin is all I'm saying.
Oh, Lupin! You know, it's funny. There's a thief with your name and wears the same colors and pretty much looks like you.
And I bet if I put on a mask, he'd look exactly the same. And we have the same voice and everything, but it's totally different. She was in the city on an official inspection, accompanied by the royal guard. She's as fine as ever, even with her fucking pincushion hat. That is such a my mom had a fucking pincushion like that. It looks like a fucking tomato, but hers is orange. But like, it looked just like that. It's a fucking pincushion. It's all I see when I see that. It's like, it's a fucking pincushion. Like, I just want to be like, pop one out. I'm gonna do a little stitching, put it back. And there's much one cannot comprehend sitting atop a throne. The view is so oblique. I don't remember her voice, but good enough. Reading the faces of my subjects and divining their states of mind. A just ruler must ascertain such things firsthand, no?
Truly admirable words, your majesty. Yet still, is your majesty quite certain the small regiment of guards will suffice? Perhaps twice, no, thrice as many.
Oh, and here I thought you were prepared to sacrifice yourself to protect me. I so ship the two of them. I'm not even kidding. I still do. I'm like, he's totally in love with her. According to Lionheart, the Queen had been making frequent outings into London proper since the resolution of the terrorist plot. I couldn't say whether or not she had had a change of heart, but today her smile seemed softer than it was last I was in London. Oh, that's because he admitted his feelings and they're getting it on. It's a Christmas miracle! Curiously, a voice I was sure I recognized from somewhere echoed forth from the plaza.
Witness! The most scintillatingly spectacular snow sculpture ever touched by science. Truly, it is the ultimate fusion of art and science, ideally suited to the single day of peace. Don't you agree, Miss Flower of Womanhood over yonder? I know I've met somewhere trying to act all inconspicuous.
That was so not exactly him, but it's like, oh, look, I'd rather not have any bizarre rumors spread, so don't call me Flower of Womanhood, please. Hold up. Is that thing cracking?
Huh? Wow! Are you saying my perfectly planned design was flawed?
And once the structure collapses, causing a momentary panic. Luckily, nobody is injured by the debris, since most of the spectators were giving the bizarrely braying Nemo a wide berth. And be that as it may, I'm honestly stunned that he was granted amnesty even for a single day. Apparently, however, Nemo is a model prisoner, apart from his wildly eccentric mannerisms, of course. I'm sure much of it has to do with the way he chose to let go of the Nautilus during the terrorist incident, but it's still a surprise to see the police treating him so gently. No, more concern than surprise, actually. Each familiar locale and face makes me think the same thing. I really do have so many wonderful memories of living in the city. And one of them happens to be right here. Men in suits scrambling about the banks of the River Thames.
Milady! Where did you go? Milady! Just calm down. Listen carefully. Past these wells of torment should lead us right to her. Curses! We must make haste. The boss will wither into nothingness from shedding oceans upon oceans of tears.
The Gordon family men, surprisingly warm chaps for being mafia, race about frantically in absolute panic. It's true what they say, some things never change. And now hold on, is that girl gallivanting around on her own again? It looks like it. If we can, I'd love to see Shirley as well. I have to at least say hello before going home to Wales. Going home, huh? Lupin? Hey, Spacey! Would you... After softly repeating my words, Lupin pauses as if to ask something. Would I... what? Before he can finish his thought, he bursts abruptly into dry laughter and points behind me. Spacey! Hey, you're back in London! Oh, Shirley!
I'm here too. It's been a while, you lot.
Ew! I'm glad to see you looking well. Looking the same. Or is that both? It was Shirley, daughter of the Gordon family's Dawn, and her bodyguard, Passy. My friends, I suppose you'd call them, who I happened to meet during a certain, incident. My face lights up in spontaneous smile. I didn't expect to see them here. I'm just saying, yes. Oh, when we did the whole mafia subplot and we had super fabulous mafia fucking costumes. Ours was hot as shit. The boys looked fucking even Impy looked fucking great, okay? And you know he's my least favorite. But he was rocking that fucking mafia suit. It was like, you know what? You just went up a little, is all I'm saying. You're still not, and you're still a number 5 position, but I'm just saying, that suit, fine, bro. Like, I love it. Anyway. My face lights up in a spontaneous smile. I didn't expect to see them here.
Hold on. You're not officially together with the gang today, are you?
Nope, Lupin and I are seeing the sights together.
Meaning, you're on a date, hmm?
Right, wait, what?
You two were strolling about the city in full-on Christmas mood, no? Then there's no doubt about it. You're on a date. It says so in Finding Your True Love, which I just bought.
Oh, that cheap rag the boss burned saying you were too young for it? Yeah?
The thing about Shirley is, she wasn't raised like a normal girl, and it shows a bit sometimes. It's not a date, nothing like that. The way you put it, Lupin is probably more embarrassed than even I am right now. And truly, if you got the wrong impression, why, I would be thoroughly mortified. See, he agreed. Because it wasn't just seeing sights, it was holding hands and snuggling and seeing sights. But it's comprensive? Something. I don't know. That's more Frenchism! Lupin! It was all the more rude of him to say because technically his words were true. Shirley and Passy's eyes widened in surprise. Unless they asked questions, I scrambled to change the subject. Say, Shirley, people are looking for you. It seemed like almost the entire family.
Oh, that. Yeah,
Shirley sighs and shrugs, seeming more than a bit perturbed.
It's been endless parties lately, and I'm so done with them. It was a good ending point, so I just came out for fresh air.
Uh-huh. You say party, but you mean a mafia event, yeah?
Well, the boss knows a lot of people. He's swamped by all the bigwigs and mafia dons he has to greet for the holidays.
I see. I suppose a mafia don's daughter would be expected to be present at all the holiday parties. I can just see Darius bragging endlessly about Shirley at these events and boring her to tears.
Anyway, that's the story. Mum's the word on my ditching, yeah?
Well, she can call it ditching if she pleases. The truth is she's here to find the right Christmas gift for the boss.
Passy, that's above top secret.
The sight of little Shirley whacking Passy on the back is really quite adorable. Although Shirley is clearly embarrassed, I share a laugh with Lupin. Echoing my own tactic, she quickly changes the subject.
Oh, by the way, have you been to the church along the main road yet?
The church?
Let's go together if you haven't. I heard they have decorations you have to see to believe.
We yield the lead to Shirley and follow her down the wide road. An impressive throng of holiday travelers crowded the thoroughfare, making our progress slower than I would have liked. At length, we arrived at the site and come face to face with what can only be the Yuletide spectacle Shirley had been so excited to see. Oh. Are we doing this because afterward they're going to be like, ah, and then you get married? We get the super secret endings where we get married. So excited for that. Oh my, what a gigantic tree. In the courtyard of the church, facing the main road, an unimaginably tall pine tree thrust upwards toward the heavens. Its soaring height alone would have merited wonder, but with every branch festooned in glittering golds and sumptuous reds, elegantly wrought ornaments in the shapes of angels, celestial globes, icicles, and so many more, it was as though the tree itself were fashioned out of pure light. And those wedding scenarios, this is the confusing part, take place after the original endings in the first game. So, like, because, like, in the original... Wait, was it the original or was it the second one? Wherever, there was one, and Lupin's ending was actually like, we married Lupin. We're like, oh, but nobody else. We can marry everyone else, but then Lupin's is after the wedding. So it's whatever that end. I can't remember if that was the... Because we never got our actual weddings. Like, with Victor, it was like let's just stand in the park or we're stand outside the church and we're like married now, okay? It's like, that's not a legit wedding. We get the actual wedding. So. But it's the original timelines for all the boys, not the finished timeline that this is. So that's really fucking weird and confusing. Like, okay. Now we're jumping back to the original timeline. Confusing as fuck, but who cares? Is the only analogy that came close to describing the spectacle. And this is an exceptionally large Christmas tree. Christmas tree? Yule trees are uncommon here, but across the channel, in Teutonic lands especially. Teutonic lands? And they're widely known as symbols of Christmas. Lupin briefly explains the continental European tradition of elaborately decorating evergreen trees for the season. Doesn't Saint Germain have like 6 of them in his house? They say it was none other than the Queen's idea to bring a bit of European culture to the UK for this celebration. Victoria? Really? It was more than a little heartwarming, not typically a term I associate with the Queen. It would seem we owe Her Majesty our gratitude then. Our gratitude? Sure. Without her, we'd never have had the chance to see this magnificent sight together. You're right. I sidle up slightly closer to Lupin so that we stand shoulder to shoulder. All around us were gaping holiday revelers stopped dead in their tracks, utterly captivated by the wondrous tree and the fucking, like, ice sculpture horse and the ice sculpture eagle behind the tree back there. Like to the left. The gilded tree shone so brightly it may as well have been enchanted. So like, oh, there's a tree with some decorations on it. Does nobody see the giant ice sculpture horse? Because that took some shit. That's all I'm saying. Like, I craned my neck and realized that I would have to step well back into the road to see the top of this noble work of art. I'm not saying Christmas trees aren't amazing, but I'm just saying somebody carved that motherfucking horse. There's a bridle on that shit and everything. Like, as the 4 of us pace around the mighty tree, drinking in all its grandeur, Shirley pulls at my sleeve and whispers in my ear.
So, is Lupin the one then?
But pardon? My heart literally skipped a beat at this query from nowhere. I made a valiant effort to hide how flustered I was, and almost certainly failed. Where on earth did that come from?
Oh, come now. I asked you this once before, no? Something like, surely one of these 5 is special to you. You claim it's not a date, but from over here it certainly looks to me like you're on each other's minds.
I did, in fact, remember her asking me the question. But back then I truly felt I respected all of my dear friends equally. I had no intention of choosing one in particular, and there was no need to. I got to keep them all. But now, the game won't give me my man harem. What about now? I just don't know. I find myself giving Shirley the same answer I had last year. Nothing else came to me, and I unconsciously screw my features up in frustration. And this is dreadfully embarrassing, but I don't know what else to say. I'm still not quite sure what love really is. Do you know, Shirley?
I can't say I have a whole lot of personal experience in the area, but everyone seems to say the same things. When you're with someone you fancy, your pulse races, your chest feels tight.
Your pulse races?
Now that sort of thing doesn't happen around family and friends, does it?
I mean, if you're having a heart attack, yeah. I mean, maybe. Chest feels tight, pulse is racing. I mean, that could be signs of a serious illness, I'm just saying.
Apparently, when you first start feeling these sorts of things, you begin to understand what romantic love is. I mean, I'm basing all this entirely on books I've read. It's not like I've experienced romance yet either, except for every time I look at Passy.
What? Shirley bursts into a bout of giggles, which I can't help but join in on. I'm not sure if I would ship her and Deli just because I feel like, holy fucking shit, that's a ball of crazy. But like her and Finnis, that's like such an odd couple. No, it would have to be her and Deli. They're like the same. Because Finnis and Hansel. Yeah. I think Hansel has a thing for Finn, is he likes to kidnap him. We saw that. He's like, I'm just going to take him away. And you're like, Hansel loves my brother. When our laughter subsides, I glance up at the massive tree. Although I really think in the real... Like, yeah, you know Passy's in love with her. I can't believe she left me for someone else. Passy fucking loves her. I don't have to go too far down memory lane to consider the situation, with events being so recent. Holding hands, being held. The gentleman thief calling my name, smiling and laughing. Things that I thought nothing much of before now make my cheeks grow hot and set butterflies loose in my stomach. And although I do not have a heart per se, the jewel embedded in my chest is without question pulsating faster. And the man having this queer effect on me... Spacey! What is it? Eh? I'm just wondering why you're staring off into space. And Passy's already gone on ahead. Come, let's be off ourselves. I nod at him as he urges me along, struggling to keep up with his pace. I lay a hand on my chest as I walk, feeling palpable warmth emanating from the jewel in my chest, even through my winter clothes. The jewel that acts as a proxy for my heart doesn't manifest itself this way with any of my other friends, nor Finnis. It can only mean that Lupin is special to me. Oh, that's a perfect place to end it. Okay, so we're going to end it here, and then we'll continue in the next part. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.